Do you think executives just like stand, backseating over the editors, like in their suits, and they just on every sound they just say, "Where's the movie sound? Where's the movie sound?" It's like, no, this is actually what a camel sounds like. It's gotta sound like a movie camel. So then it's like.
What have we just done, Oskar?
We watched The Scorpion King for the unknown number of the
42.
time. The 42th time. And a difference was that we had a guest who is still here. I said had as if he had expired, but he has
I
not.
should say that we just did a sound check where you talked into the mic in a volume you don't ever speak in, which is this. Hello, I'm doing a sound check. And you just started talking and you spiked like a motherfucker because your actual talking voice is up here when you talk about the time that we watched the Scorpion King.
I feel like this is what I'm talking about, because now I am actively trying to talk, louder, because you gave me such a hard time about how I did the sound check. And now it's like when I try to appease you, I get made fun of.
You are gaslighting me.
No, I am.
You are gaslighting me.
I am liquid darknessing.
I can see your levels. You are going into the red, my friend.
Something's going into the red.
Yes, it's your voice.
Should I talk more like this?
No, it's fine.
Oh,
I compensated for it because I know that you do it. I just want to blast your ass for it.
I'm gonna compensate your ass out of your own ass, and then. So we have a guest. Emil is here for the second time. The last time Emil was here, he was 2 separate JPEGs.
It was actually PNGs.
Mine was a JPEG. I think.
Well,
I'm sorry.
I had the files, so I know.
Well, I'm sorry. It was not a JPEG. It was a PNG, and he was drawn in a style which was the style at the time, and but now he is not drawn. Now he is rendered in his real
flesh,
real time, real reality. What did you think about the Scorpion King, Emil?
I did not like it.
I'm gonna need you to be closer to your microphone.
What is this microphone? It's
the internet is all over the world, so we need to talk real clearly, real loud, so everyone hears us. Yeah, is this better?
Yes,
very good, very good.
Yes, you are.
All right. Yeah,
in your reporterness.
Very good. Okay, so about the movie, I did not like it, but I enjoyed the watch still, so that was good.
How much of the movie did you remember from having watched it already? Because it has, in a regular movie watcher's career, it hasn't been that long for you.
No, but I'm also a person that have a really hard time remembering stuff. So a lot of things was new.
I'm gonna interrupt here because I just had an idea.
Yes.
I'm gonna do an impromptu game here, where me and Oskar will do 3 rounds. We will both guess one thing each per round. A thing we think you remembered from the movie.
Okay.
From the first time, and then we'll see if it's correct or not. And then if we get one correct, you can tell us, why you remembered it.
Will I have to do any work here? Will I have to try to remember stuff? No?
No. You just have to tell us if you did remember it.
Okay.
Like from the first watch to the second watch. Okay. So round 1. Do you want to go first?
There's no guarantee I'll even remember it now.
No, exactly. Exactly.
You get to go first. The one who invents impromptu games gets to go first in set games.
I'm going to say that you remembered... No, I think you remembered that there would be snakes in urns.
All right. And Oskar does not get a say here.
No, he gets to have his own, and then we'll go and we'll see which one of those if you remembered.
Yeah, okay.
So I have to say one.
Yeah.
No? I think that you remember. You remember. What did they say the snakes do? I think that you remembered that there were ants. The ant scene.
Right, so a bit of an animal theme here.
Yes.
And you are both correct. Between watch 1 and 2, I remembered both the ants and the snakes in the urns.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, round 2 then.
Mhm.
I think you remembered that there would be. I think you remembered the prehistoric telescope.
All right.
Okay. I think that you remembered the arrow catching. Dying to the arrow catching at the end.
All right. So one of you is correct. And that is Oskar. I actually did not remember
Damn.
the telescope thing, even though I think
Even
right
though you
now,
commented on it.
yes, I commented on it, and I still think it's like one of the best parts of the movie.
But it's
But
pretty
I
good
actually
because,
did not remember it.
because what you said during the watch when you commented on it was that you said, like paraphrase, like that. Oh, this is so fucking cool.
Yes.
This so and that can still be interpreted
Yeah.
as you seeing it for the first time,
Yeah.
and like having just a really fast reaction to it, like wow, seeing it now is just so fucking cool.
No, so like maybe I got reminded of it.
Yeah, but you
during
didn't
the second one.
remember.
No,
it.
I had no clue it was going to happen.
Mm.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll let you go first for the third.
I think that you remembered. I think you remembered the sorceress sucking out the whatever it was.
I think you remembered. I think you remembered him going with the camel in the sandstorm behind him. This could be big because this could be the first real win for Oskar in a game show
Yeah.
here.
So this was the last one.
No, you won versus Anna as well. Yes, that was
Okay.
round 3.
So, okay, let's do it like this. The sandstorm and the camel riding and everything.
Yes.
Yes, I did remember that.
Yes.
The sorceress doing her magic stuff and sucking the life force or whatever out of Dwayne. Yes, I did remember that.
Well,
Yeah. So
I'll tip my hat to you, Oskar.
I'm scared to respond in any way, so I'll just I will not tip my hat, and I will sit here and proceed.
No answer is still an answer, Oskar.
okay, so let's do one round where you try to guess what I did not remember.
Okay, so it has to be a big thing.
Yeah.
I think so,
Like,
'cause you can't
to
really
qualify,
say.
it has to be like not
Yeah.
something that people that have watched the movie 40 times would.
Okay, I'm gonna go out on just gonna go fucking swing for the fences here.
Okay.
I'm gonna say you did not remember the kid.
That's a cool one.
You didn't remember him at all.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll say I think you did not remember that Michael Duncan Clark was in this movie at all.
Okay. Cool. So one of you is correct. And once again, it's Oskar.
Damn,
I actually did not remember that.
that's pretty big.
Yeah, I know. But this time around, he's my favorite character also.
Yeah.
So that's
He's
kind of
pretty high
fun.
up on the tier
Yeah,
list.
I think we talk him up like nowadays when we have guests, we are so eager to talk about like Michael Duncan Clark stories from like the commentary track,
Yeah.
like and how poorly Dwayne treat him. So I think we like sow a seed of empathy in the guest's mind about Michael Duncan Clark just from the get-go.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that he left more of an impression this time.
I just want to say, in regards to the kid, I remembered the kid because of his smile.
I smile.
Yes, the smile. Because I think the smile looks.
Is it a particular
Stupid.
smile? Is it
Yeah.
the smile when he?
No, from the when he was in the urn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I was looking up and like.
Yeah, we talk about the urn scene a lot, but generally speaking, the discourse around the urn scene now is our combined berating of an imagined movie executive who talks to a sound designer. Because in that scene, the kid is in an urn, and Dwayne is trying to figure out if he's in an urn. So he knocks on the urns with his sword, and it goes hollow, hollow, and then the sound that it makes when it isn't hollow is even more hollow.
Yeah.
And we are convinced that they made the sound to just be like knock knock, something. It sounds like it isn't hollow, but then an executive went, it has to make a movie sound. Why isn't it making a movie sound?
Do you think executives just like stand, backseating over the editors, like in their suits, and they just, on every sound, they just say, where's the movie sound? Where's the movie sound? It's like, no, this is actually what a camel sounds like. It's got to sound like a movie camel. So then it's like, like instead. And then like, that's all the executive.
Yes. I think being like an executive producer in Hollywood, especially if you're, because often enough executive producers are, like Patrick Stewart is an executive producer on Picard.
Yeah.
Because he's a famous rich dude. But often enough, executive producers are just rich people who get to feel like they are creatives by investing money in something and then getting to have decisions. So I think that's 100% correct.
It's like backing a Kickstarter,
Yes.
where it's like, I helped make this game happen because I am a painting somewhere in the game and I paid like $10,000 to be a pixelated painting.
I paid money to have my name above yours in the credits.
We talked a bit about Vince McMahon and how he's an executive producer.
Yeah.
So it's not impossible that it was actually Vince McMahon himself who stood.
I think it's McMahon.
McMahon. Vince McDees, who stood behind the editor and said, this urn needs to make a movie sound.
I know for a fact of one Vince McMahon executive producer decision being made for this movie. Was that Dwayne could not be credited as Dwayne. He had to be either The Rock or Dwayne The Rock Johnson. They had to have a WWE reference in there because he owns or maybe he doesn't anymore, but he did own the brand The Rock, the character The Rock.
Does that mean that Dwayne is like a slave when this movie takes place?
What?
No, I don't think it means that.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm a bit unsure, like what questions are okay to ask at this point. So I'm trying to be a bit careful. So
now, having watched the movie twice in a relatively quick succession, and also being a person that does exist in our, not even our periphery, our real lives.
Yeah.
As evidenced by you being here, I suppose. Do you feel like having watched it twice has given you any real insight into our process? Because before this, you had only watched the movie as you watched the movie.
Well, I think watching the movie twice doesn't really provide much. But watching the movie twice with you guys, and so comparing this watch to the first watch I did with you, this was very different because back then you were still like finding out new things about the movie. It was very obvious this time around that there was like nothing I could say that would be new. I couldn't comment on anything because every little tiny detail was thoroughly investigated already. So I always, a lot of the times I found myself sitting there having things to say, but choosing not to say them because it's like...
I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, no, but because you've already discussed all of these things intricately enough. So that, I would say, gave me an insight more than watching the movie twice.
It's interesting, I think, that because we talked about this a couple of watches ago, which isn't related to the movie, but the process of watching the movie forever. I shouldn't say forever because then I'm cursing it. 52 times. That if I look back at myself, if I go back in time and try to like inhabit the space of Leeloo watched the movie 15 times, when we had watched the movie 15 times, we felt like such veterans. We felt like we've done this forever, dude. This is, and I think we felt that at like watch 8 or something.
Yeah.
Because watching a movie 8 times is already so much. And it's interesting to look at that and go like, oh, what a fucking baby. What a baby. You don't know anything about the Scorpion King.
It's like the sweet summer child. And I was gonna say that it's interesting how I've talked a little bit about this kind of thing before, but how I've become so complacent, like in terms of the concept of what we're doing. And that I've become so complacent towards the movie that it doesn't really bother me anymore to watch the movie, like, because I feel like a lot, if I'm gonna be honest, like a lot of the time it feels like, for me personally, the part of the movie being the act of watching the movie being horrible or whatever, I feel like I have to play it up a bit.
Oh, you're LARPing.
I feel like I have to LARP a bit, because especially when I guess, I think it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun to watch the movie. And I mean, this time we barely watched the movie because we were just talking about like
everything.
Yeah.
And nothing.
Yeah, sure.
I should say lots of it was actually pretty movie based or Dwayne based.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like the stuff that you guys like commented on was like, you Leeloo, you said like the one thing I remember where you were like the most hype was like, oh, I love how he jumps in this scene.
It is a great part of the
jumping
movie.
like this. And I was like, I was waiting for it to happen, and then I looked at you,
then you
and
realize
it was
that
clear,
it
it already happened.
Yeah,
like,
we're already like shaking hands. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Great. Good job, everybody. We got him.
Yeah,
it was a good jump.
1.5 seconds of
Bernard Hill skipping across the sand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
those are the highlights of the movie.
Exactly.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah. The jumping. Yeah, it was good.
Insane.
I'm sure I would come to respect it more if I watched the movie 40 times.
But I think maybe you would just respect all other parts of the movie so much less.
Yeah, probably.
So I don't think it's an inflation. There's no inflation in the Scorpion King. It's only relative deflation. I think for me, watching the movie is never good still. And I don't know if you mentioned this at the time, but we did watch the movie separately. We did mention that part when we watched it with ProxyCon, because Proxy is in an American time zone, so they watched it on their own. So we decided to watch it on our own to just see what would happen. We never watched the movie without each other before that. And I had like actual like
allergic reactions.
No, like almost like panic attacky feelings. Like I was feeling it was a little bit harder to breathe, and I was feeling not mentally there. Like and every time I hear the Universal logo nowadays, there is some sort of anguish. Actual, like it doesn't feel. It's like an alarm clock.
It will be interesting to see how long that it takes for that to diminish.
Well, considering certain secret plans in the lands, it might be some ways off.
I think that depends. I don't think
it does depend, but it also depends.
Yeah, we should say there was some sort of joke that maybe the funniest thing to do if we were to do a Sting of Time season 2 would be to watch. You just don't watch another movie.
Yeah,
just
watch
the Scorpion King
King again.
52 times more.
Yeah, would it? Yeah, it's a bit premature, I think, for me to ask questions about that. Like, what's it going to be like afterwards? Because it's still some time left. Yeah. But,
There's 10 times left.
10 times left.
Yeah, exactly. So I had a question, but I don't think I'm going to ask it, actually. Yeah.
Maybe you can ask it 10 times from now.
Yes.
Or maybe you should just ask it now, because we might give an answer now, and then we'll give a different answer later.
Okay. So if you would look at this movie as a sort of blanket for a child, that you like, it grows into you, it bonds you two together, watching it every week.
Poor child.
And then all of a sudden it's removed from you. Like, will it feel empty? That's the, like, do you think right now it will feel empty without it?
I think, or you can go first.
I was going to say that it will depend entirely on what happens after the 50-second watch, because we know other things will happen. Some things more concretely, some things more vaguely, but which will be thematically decided upon at that point. And I feel that the whether it feels empty or not will depend on how quickly we step into the next chapter of this kind of thing. And also the quality of the next chapter of this kind of thing. And for me, it would I would just feel nothing. I think if we just step into like a new thing, it will just be. I think I will just like, okay, this is Scorpion King now, and it will just become like the activity will be the same. It will just be nothing will really change for me.
I think regardless of what happens, there will be an oddity. There will be some sort of negative space created by not having the movie The Scorpion King in my life anymore. And it will be because we have talked a lot about how, because there was at times literally talks about maybe we should not keep doing this, which we overcame.
Yes.
And part of overcoming that was that watching the movie 20 times doesn't feel like it is anything. It isn't something. But having watched it, having said you're going to do it 52 times and then doing 52 times is something. And it's something you can say, and it's weird and funny.
It's like if we had watched it only 20 times after clearly establishing that we were supposed to watch, it's a bit like, I'm going to ski from the coolest pissed, whatever it's called in English. In English, pissed means something else, but just roll with it. We're gonna ski like from the best ski thing in the world, and then we take the ski lift up. The entire time it's like, wow, this is the longest I've been on a ski lift ever. Wow, my legs are completely numb from just sitting on the ski lift, and then we go up, then we take the ski lift down again. Or like it would be like, that's not something you can tell as a story.
Exactly.
You could tell it as like the start of a story. This one time I rode a ski lift really far, but it would be completely useless as an experience.
Yeah. So that has sort of, I think that part, I think we've established how, at least we've established the idea that we have that to look forward to, that we can, someday you can just tell someone like, oh, Scorpion King, I watched that 52 times in a row.
You can also show someone.
Yeah, exactly. There's evidence for it. Or I guess there isn't evidence of us watching it. There's evidence of us talking about watching it, but whatever.
But that's almost equally.
It's almost worse. But I thought about the other day how it's gonna feel in like 4 years if I just happen to catch The Scorpion King, the movie. Like, how is that gonna feel? Is it gonna feel like, meeting an ex?
Yeah.
It's really weird. So I think in that way, there's definitely something is going to happen. But then on like the other end of the question, to me, I think we could just stop doing this and not do anything, and it would probably be fine in terms of like, it feels like something is missing or something like that, because maybe people who watch this don't know, but me and Oskar, we hang out a lot.
Yes.
We talk a lot. We do a lot of things.
You would think that maybe because of this kind of project, we would like hang out less and do less things together,
Yeah.
like because we as like sort of like a distancing thing, like a sanity thing. But the opposite has
Yeah.
happened, if anything, that we just hang out even more.
Yeah.
And
But I think maybe that's like, well, it is a good sign, I guess, for our continued relationship that we haven't started hating each other from this. But also, I guess I don't think any of us considered doing this quality time.
no,
No, and it's interesting because it shows a bad movie too. Like
Yeah, but we didn't know that.
Okay, but like what would have changed if you chose to destroy a good movie? If you'd chosen like Terminator 2 and you watched that 52 times instead.
Yeah, I think this kind of thing has come up at some point too. I think I've compared it to, you know, like speedrunning, where someone like, oh, I really love this game, I'm gonna speedrun it and thereby destroy everything fun about the game, and like that sort of thing. But now when I'm here at this number of watch, you could make the argument that maybe now it's like, you know, I'm speedrunning a game, and what the game turned into is what is actually fun now, and I wouldn't enjoy the normal game anymore. So it's, you know, it's a bit warped like that.
But I think maybe we don't have to go into detail. We don't really have any super detailed plans about it yet. There will probably be some sort of break before we continue with anything, if we continue with anything. But I think we could pretty concretely say that it won't be more Scorpion King.
No,
Scorpion King will be done after 52.
and it will not be, you know, Scorpion King 2, Scorpion King 3. Oh, check out this other Dwayne movie, or it will be something.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine, because we didn't hate Dwayne before we started watching Scorpion King. So I couldn't imagine going into a movie where we already hate Dwayne.
and I'll say this: there is with us there is a certain, you know, pattern in things that we do where we might invest time and energy into a topic or a medium or something like that. And we will go into it expecting it to be bad.
Yeah.
Expecting, like, I know this will bring me negative feelings, and that is, you know, a signed contract at start. And to people watching this, or just being aware of this being a thing, like the Sting project or whatever, at this point it might seem obvious to people that, oh, this is something they did, it's like a joke to, it's gonna be so bad, or like whatever. It didn't start like that.
No,
it just started with, you know, that movie Scorpion King, like that's such a nothing movie or whatever, like I kind of know about it, like, let's watch it 52 times, and it's, you know, it could have been good.
Yeah,
you know, it could.
We
have
do
been...
love Sword and Sorcery as well, so there was like a distinct possibility that we would really click with Dwayne, but it turns out that the movie is fucking horrible.
And so it's interesting like that. And if we do something similar like this, like let's say we do literally, let's watch another movie 52 times or whatever, and what we end up picking will be, it will be interesting, because I feel like there's going to be so much more going into that decision now, and also a bit more like apprehension. Maybe we have discussed some candidates which we will not utter here.
We could say some that will definitely not happen, because we have a couple that I feel like are very much on the same level as the Scorpion King in terms of like, what is this movie? What kind of feelings do we have towards it, and what do we even like know about it? But for a while there were movies that were, because since we're idiots, we kind of started floating the idea of maybe doing this more when we had watched it like 10 times. We're like, we're flying through this, before we really dipped into the pain zone. But some movies that, a lot of them are things that are funny to say, but aren't necessarily that wouldn't be great, I don't think. So I think the first one was maybe we should watch Bridget Jones' Diary 2, 52 times in a
Yes.
row. We haven't seen any of them.
No idea
so why not?
what the Bridget Jones Diary is even about.
Just jump
Like,
into 2. That was one, and then I think the Final Fantasy CG movie,
Spirits Within.
was also floated. That I think is a solid suicide choice. Gonna kill yourself. Watch 4.
I on the topic of Final Fantasy Spirits Within, like I talked a bit about when we have discussed this kind of topic that I'm like soft banning watching an animated movie of any kind, because it's like it actually makes me like uncomfortable to think about how, because when I watch anything animated, or no matter if it's like 3D animated or like classic like Disney cartoon 2D style, I always feel like, you know, number one, that I have to hyper pay attention to the movie, because I really have to appreciate like every detail. And I have to, because it's I cannot watch, you know, an animated movie in like a relaxed manner, because I want to see all the work, like artistry of it. And as a result of that, if I watch animated movies twice, like one of my favorite animated movies ever is Vampire Hunter D, Bloodlust. Very good animated movie, and I've seen it a lot of times. I've seen it like 10 times maybe in my life, and I know like every frame of this movie, because, you know, it's animated. I can see the Matrix when I watch an animated movie, and I would literally kill myself if I had to watch a movie I didn't like that was animated 52 times, and it would be nothing new to experience on any one watch. It would just be literally the same experience every time for me, because I'm just coded that way.
What would, if you had to, you can pick, if you know, any, you can look for any quality here, but if someone told you have to watch a movie 52 times in a row, you don't even have to watch it every week, you can just bang it out, but you have to pay attention, what would you pick?
Yeah, that's an interesting question, because that's kind of why I asked the question firsthand. Like, would anything have changed watching a good movie? And I think the knee-jerk reaction is to say, don't pick a good movie, don't ruin it. But I think the analogy to speedrunning is kind of good. Speedrunning, I don't think speedrunning destroys the game you love. You just dive deeper into it. And I think a good movie, a really good movie that you really, really, really like, would probably be a good pick.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you would ruin it. So I would probably, like, if I would have to choose a movie to watch 52 times, I'd pick a good movie, like a Tarantino movie, like Inglourious Basterds or whatever. Like that's something I would watch.
I was gonna say that's a really long movie.
Yeah, but I thought about that, because I was about to say something short is probably good, but I don't think you want anything that's short and like action focused or something like that. I think you would probably get more out of like watching The Godfather 2, like, and then you can
something
just,
that you can analyze a bit.
Yeah, you can look at every scene and you can go, oh, I wonder how this scene is from this character's perspective.
Yeah.
I wonder how did it, or you can like really think about the acting. You can't think about Dwayne's acting in The Scorpion King in any other way than thinking about it and going like, ugh.
And I mean, there are people that are really into some movies, and they just watch them all over and over and over again. They don't torture themselves doing it. They want to. Like, I know a person. She loves Harry Potter movies. She have watched them like a million times.
Yeah.
Because like she likes Harry Potter.
Yeah.
I mean,
but I would, because I do agree with you, and I do, you know, recognize that in people. But I think a lot of that, I think it's a bit different, because I think people who do that, they do it as background noise a bit. Yeah, they do other things as well. Like, oh, I love the Harry Potter universe. You can sort of dive into the movie for like 5 minutes at a time, and then it's sort of like it's a YouTube video or something. Because we never do anything else when we do this.
No.
Which I think if we could, it would sort of be totally meaningless.
Yes.
Yeah. And I guess like scheduling it, making it a chore every week is another thing than watching a movie you like. Like
Yeah.
you could leave it at the shelf for 3 months and then go back to it, and you can't do that.
No.
You're locked in for 52 weeks, and that's also
When I was a kid, I used to watch like all of the original Star Wars trilogy movies, like basically every day. I would like get home from, I was gonna say kid school, but that sounds weird. Like I guess
Preschool?
Preschool or whatever. I like come home and have a risifrutti, as we say in Sweden, which kind of fell out of style in my lands since then. Might have to try that again. But I'd always have one of those, and I'll sit down and I'll put on Star Wars, and I'll be like, "This is great. This is the bomb." Like that sort of thing. I'll just watch it. Like my mom would be like, "Aren't you tired of that movie?" But no, mom, the movie's sick. The movie's great, and I just didn't give a shit. I'll just watch Star Wars, like, and it's a bit like you say about background noise that in my memory, it is as I'm telling it now. I'll just sit down and watch Star Wars. In reality, it was probably I'd start watching Star Wars, and then I'd start doing something else after a while, just like doing kid stuff or whatever. So
yeah.
Before we let this run for 1 million hours, I'm gonna leave a choice up to you, Emil. Behind you, there is a VHS player and a CRT TV. Do you think that we need... So we have 10 watches left. A lot of them are booked already. I think we have four out of 10 are sort of free
open
watches, open watches. Do you feel like we owe it to ourselves to buy the Scorpion King on VHS and watch it on that TV?
Yes.
there it is.
Yeah, of course.
All right. Then it is settled.
I can't wait.